Did journalists fail women's track athletes? By now you've probably heard about the Grand Slam of track debacle. You know, where there was supposed to be this whole series of professional track events, but then the organizers ran out of money, athletes didn't get paid, and they had to cancel the whole thing before the final stop. It's kind of a mess. I will say The Athletic has done a pretty good job digging into this after the fact. And apparently, Gabby Thomas is owed $180,000, Sydney McLaughlin-Leveroni is owed $250,000, and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden is owed $300,000. Yikes! My problem with this whole thing is how journalists handled it last year when the Grand Slam of Track was announced. Listen, I'm not here to drag journalists. I am one, but I think part of building a healthy ecosystem around women's sports is talking honestly about things that don't work, and I'm going to explain why this is a great example. In June 2024, just before the Paris Olympics, the Grand Slam of Track issued a press release announcing their debut and saying they had secured more than $30 million in financial commitments from investors and strategic partners. This is not an uncommon strategy where a sport that is not as mainstream as, say, football or baseball tries to leverage Olympic momentum to convert fans. In this case, $30 million sounds really positive, and it was the brainchild of American Olympic hero Michael Johnson. What could go wrong? Most of the outlets that reported about this at the time used that $30 million figure that Grand Slam of Track announced in their press release. You can see it's in an Associated Press story, the CBC, Canadian Running Magazine. Flow Track just completely reposted the press release itself. No other reporting whatsoever. The problem is that the $30 million was never really secured. After the league started reneging on its financial commitments, The Athletic reported that only $13 million had been secured. The remainder from the lead investor was optional, but not a guarantee. The consequences of this are pretty significant. These women and men are putting their bodies on the line and have nothing to show for it. I'm not saying sports journalists caused this, obviously they did not, but they could have done more reporting up front to alert fans and athletes to the fact that the $30 million was not as secure as the league made it out to be. I've actually been in a very similar situation with an upstart league where I had to fact check the figure in their press release by speaking to lawyers who did the raise, and at the time it felt a little awkward to question the number they were reporting, which I was able to verify. But the reason I did it is to avoid a situation like this. When you're a journalist, you have to be okay with feeling awkward and asking awkward questions, and you have to do the extra work to confirm the basic facts in the story. With more and more money coming into women's sports, we're used to being really positive about investment announcements and growth. Sometimes we need to ask deeper questions, and this is an area where sports journalists need to tighten up in order to do a better job protecting athletes and fans.